blood smeared across walls like a grotesque painting. Over 100 separate injuries inflicted with household items turned into weapons. And in the middle of this horror scene, two teenage girls calmly taking selfies, laughing as they documented their night of torture. This is one of the most disturbing child-perpetrated murders in British history. The brutal killing of 39-year-old Angela Wrightson by two girls just 13 and 14 years old. But perhaps the most controversial aspect isn't the crime itself. It's what happened after. The lifetime anonymity granted to the killers, the questions about whether children can truly be evil, and the systemic failures that allowed two troubled girls and one vulnerable woman to collide in the worst possible way. Welcome back to Juvenile Files, where we dive deep into real cases of juvenile crime and the disturbing psychology of young offenders. Tonight's case is one that shook the United Kingdom to its absolute core, not because of the weapons used, though they were horrifyingly mundane, not even because of the brutality, though it was beyond comprehension, but because the killers were children, laughing, drinking cheap cider, posting selfies to Snapchat, all while systematically torturing a vulnerable woman for over 8 excruciating hours. This is the full, uncensored story of the murder of Angela Wrightson, a case that forced Britain to confront uncomfortable truths about childhood violence, social care failures, and the limits of redemption. Before December 8, 2014, the two girls known legally only as Girl A and Girl B were not strangers to trouble. Both were in local authority care, removed from homes marked by severe neglect, domestic violence, and parental substance abuse. Both had histories of violence, truancy, alcohol misuse, and severe emotional instability. Girl A, the older at 14, had been in care since age 11. She had assaulted staff members, destroyed property, and regularly absconded. Social workers described her as manipulative and controlling, capable of extreme violence when challenged. Her assessments revealed attachment disorders and conduct disorder. Girl B, just 13, was described as easily led and desperate for acceptance. She had learning difficulties and exhibited extreme emotional dysregulation. Her case files documented over 30 placement breakdowns, each ending with violence or property damage. On the night of December 8th, both girls escaped from their respective children's homes. The care workers, overwhelmed and understaffed, didn't immediately raise alarms. The girls were bored, looking for excitement, looking for trouble. That decision would set the stage for one of the most shocking murders in modern British history. Angela Wrightson was 39 years old, though life had aged her beyond her years. She struggled with chronic alcoholism, severe mental health issues, including depression and anxiety, and lived alone in a council house in Hartlepool. Known locally as Alco Ange, she was a fixture in the community, often seen stumbling through the streets or sitting on benches drinking from plastic bottles. Despite her vulnerabilities, or perhaps because of them, Angela often allowed local teenagers into her home, offering them a place to drink in exchange for company. She was desperately lonely, and the teenagers knew it. Just after 7 p.m., the girls arrived at Angela's house on Stephen Street. Angela recognized them from previous visits and let them in without hesitation. She had no idea she had just signed her own death warrant. What began as drinking cheap cider and listening to music quickly spiraled into sadistic violence that would last over 8 torturous hours. The attack started small, perhaps with pushing or slapping, the kind of casual violence both girls were accustomed to. But something shifted. The violence escalated exponentially. For over 8 hours, the girls systematically destroyed Angela, using everyday household items as weapons. They beat her with a television set, its screen shattering against her skull. They used a shovel, a broom, wooden sticks ripped from furniture, and a computer printer that left distinctive marks on her body. They smashed ornaments and glassware over her head, the shards embedding in her scalp. Throughout this prolonged torture, the girls exhibited behavior that chilled even hardened investigators. They laughed and joked, posing for selfies with Angela visible in the background, bloodied and pleading. They uploaded pictures to Snapchat, called friends to brag about smashing up Angie's house, and even left the property to buy more alcohol before returning to continue the assault. At one point, they used Angela's own phone to call a friend, laughing as Angela's weak voice could be heard begging for help in the background. Angela suffered over 100 separate injuries, including severe internal damage, multiple fractures to her skull and ribs, and defensive wounds showing she had tried desperately to protect herself. The pathologist would later testify that many of the injuries were inflicted while Angela was still conscious, aware of everything happening to her. As dawn approached, reality began to penetrate the girl's alcohol-fueled haze. The older girl called for a taxi at 4 a.m., telling friends they had been smashing up a house. The younger girl posted on Facebook about battering Angie, treating murder like a casual anecdote. They returned to their care homes as if nothing had happened. By midday, Angela's support worker discovered her body. The scene was catastrophic. Blood on walls and ceilings, weapons scattered throughout, signs of prolonged savage attack. Police quickly pieced together the timeline using CCTV and Snapchat photos that confirmed the girls were inside during Angela's murder. Within 48 hours, both were arrested. Their behavior during questioning shocked investigators. Girl B laughed and bragged about the assault. Girl A cried, but insisted she didn't mean it. Both blamed each other. Neither accepted responsibility. The forensic evidence was overwhelming. Blood on clothing, DNA on weapons, digital evidence creating an indisputable timeline. They were charged with murder, setting the stage for one of the most controversial trials in British legal history. Because the defendants were children, the trial was heavily restricted. The media could not publish their names, photographs, or identifying information. The courtroom was modified to be less intimidating, with the girls seated with social workers rather than in the dock. They were tried twice. The first trial collapsed due to jury issues after one juror conducted independent research, but the second trial in April 2016 ended with both girls convicted of murder. The sentencing sparked nationwide debate. They received life sentences with a minimum of 15 years, one of the longest sentences ever given to female juveniles in the United Kingdom. Judge Justice Globe described the attack as sustained, brutal, and sadistic, noting the prolonged nature of the assault and the girls' callous behavior during and after the murder. The controversial aspect wasn't just the sentence length, but the lifetime anonymity orders protecting the girls' identities. Unlike the James Bulger case where the killers' identities were eventually revealed, these girls will remain anonymous forever, able to create new lives upon release without the public knowing who they are or what they did. Critics argue this denies justice to Angela's memory and potentially puts future communities at risk. Supporters claim it's necessary for rehabilitation and that children, no matter their crimes, deserve a chance at redemption. The case raised profound questions about the juvenile justice system. Should children who commit adult crimes face adult consequences? Can someone who commits such brutal violence at 13 or 14 ever be truly rehabilitated? The girls had been failed by every system meant to protect them, but does that excuse or explain their actions? The most controversial aspect of this case is how preventable it was. Multiple systems failed everyone involved. The girls had been known to authorities for years with extensive histories of violence and absconding. Yet they were placed in care homes ill-equipped to handle their needs, with overworked staff unable to provide adequate supervision. Angela had been known to social services as a vulnerable adult, She had been attacked before by local youths who exploited her loneliness and alcoholism. Yet no safeguarding measures were implemented. The community knew she allowed underage drinkers into her home, but nobody intervened. The case exposed the crisis in children's social care, underfunded, overwhelmed, and unable to support the most troubled young people. It revealed how vulnerable adults fall through systemic cracks, left unprotected despite known risks. The murder of Angela Wrightson remains one of the most disturbing cases in British criminal history. Two young girls tortured a vulnerable woman to death over 8 hours of unimaginable cruelty, documenting their crime on social media with no remorse until reality set in. They received life sentences but remain protected by anonymity that will follow them after release. This case forces us to confront uncomfortable questions. Can children be truly evil, or are they products of their environment? Should juvenile killers receive adult sentences? Is lifetime anonymity justice or injustice? How many more Angela Wrightsons and troubled girls are out there, ignored by systems meant to protect them? What do you think? Should child killers retain anonymity for life? Can someone who commits such brutal violence as a child ever be safely released? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more cases on Juvenile Files.